Welcome back to my channel, everyone, and I'm talking a little louder today because I actually have a fan going in the background, and y'all, it is cold here, but I have a fan on because we're actually going to be making a Unique in the Creek flower board flower today, and we're going to be using our heat sealer to cut our poly burlap mesh. And if you have never used a heat sealer, it's kind of like a wood burning tool. It's like this. This tip gets very hot, and I use it to cut my mesh, and it seals the ends. That way your mesh does not fray. So the reason I have a fan on is because this stuff lets off a fume once you start cutting the thing. That's not really good for you. I recommend, and it's recommended that you use it in like a outside area or a well-ventilated area, or you wear a mask when you're doing it, y'all. I don't think it's as bad for me. I'm in a basement where there's a lot of air circulation, but I do like to have my fan running. That way the air is moving and flowing around, and I'm not breathing it all in, y'all, okay? So if you do it a lot, I've heard of people that actually get sent to the ER and stuff for it, so y'all, crafting is dangerous. But the materials we're gonna need for this project are this is a small, Unique in the Creek flower board. They have the larger ones. The larger ones, I think, have 5 rings are around, so like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, it's labeled. The next one has another thing, and it makes a bigger flower. I got these in a pack of 5 from Amazon. You're going to need zip ties because you use zip ties to go in the holes to attach your little petals. You're going to need, you don't even need a heat sealer, but I like to heat seal my my mesh. We're going to be using poly burlap mesh tonight. This is the most expensive mesh, one of the more expensive mesh, and I love it. And it's nice and thick, and it's going to make a pretty flower. So I'm going to be using all yellow on this design. And then you need some kind of flower center or something to go in the middle of your center. So I actually did buy this online, y'all, but it actually came, and it was kind of big. It was too big. I bought it. They do sell centers, but look at this, y'all. The center is as big as the thing. I bought the wrong size. I wasn't paying attention. So you can buy smaller ones that they make for those, but I made my own because I was like, obviously I can't use that one because it's going to be bigger than the whole flower. So I make mine out of these little things, and these are like the half ball cylinder looking things, and this is by Craft Foam. It's an 18-inch by 5.8 inch, and I just took this white foam. They also sell green ones, but I got the white one, and all I did, y'all, was I just took some paint, some pink paint, and one of those like spongy brushes, y'all know, those little black spongy ones that you used to use when you're kids craft, and I dabbed it on in there, and I got it all nice. And then I took my I got this stuff from Walmart. It's acrylic sealer matte finish by Alini's. It's in the craft section, and I just did a light spray over my thing. That way this is kind of protected, so if it would get wet, I wouldn't want the paint to get ruined. So I've been letting that dry for a while now, y'all, and I'm going to show you how we do that. And we got to attach something to the bottom of that. That way we can attach it to our center. But the first thing I want to do, y'all, is pull you guys down. So guys, I'm talking loud because of the fan being over here, so I hope you guys can still hear me. But yeah, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take my little zip ties, and I am going to put them in all these ties like this. As you can see, I brought them through like so. Again, here, put them through in here, bring it in to the outside, bring this little guy through. You're going to need the smaller zip ties, that way you can fit the little head of the zip tie, this little square, through the hole. And you're going to do these in all of the things. Now, I'm not going to put them in this center one right here. I'm going to only put them in row 1, 2, and 3. Not sure about 4 yet, because we might not even need to put anything on 4 because our flower center might cover it up. You want to make sure that your flower center is going to cover up the things that are going to hang out here. So I just need to see how that works, and then we might need to add some onto the row 4, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So I'm going to actually just get this done, and then we will move on. Okay, friends, so on the top row, I got confused for a second because there was a bunch of them up here. You see there's like 4 in a row here. You're going to go in between right here. You can see like it's a spacing, and then like this, you can tell it's correct spacing. These 2 holes right here are for you to be able to hold a hanger, to put a hanger. So you put one side of it in there and one side of it in here to do a hanger. So there you go. And again, these are called Unique in the Creek flower boards. Otherwise, they're also known as Uitc boards. So if you see that anywhere, That is what they're called. But now we're gonna put this to the side because we don't really need that right now. And now is when we're gonna work with our mesh. So you can use any mesh for this. I like the poly burlap for these type of boards, but it's totally your call. So what I'm gonna do is I use a glass cutting board, as you can see. I like the glass cutting board. That way I'm obviously not gonna cut on my cutting mat because the hot metal is going to burn my mat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my little thing, and this is on hot. This is like a hot thing, so don't burn yourself on this, friends. And what you're gonna do is you're going to just take it and you're gonna cut your way down your mesh all the way till you hit the 10 mark. And what it did was it sealed the edges. See, you guys, it's smoking. You can see that, but that's what you don't want. You don't want to be breathing in all that smoke. So be careful when you're doing this, friends. You do not want to be breathing that in. So I'm like letting the smoke go the other way from me, and I'm gonna be doing this. And take your time with it, friends. Obviously, if you go real fast, it's not gonna get a very good cut, and you obviously want it to be able to seal your edges. Otherwise, you could basically just use a rotary cutter if you're gonna go fast. So a rotary cutter would work for this if you want. I like to heat seal my edges. That way I know there's not going to be that much fraying. There's still going to be some fraying, but it won't be as bad. Again, this is called a wood burning tool. It heat seals the edges of your mesh. You can use it on mesh, poly burlap, poly jute, poly deco mesh, all the different meshes you could totally use it on. And I got mine from Amazon. It was around $20 some. I don't remember the exact amount of it, but it was pretty inexpensive. There's plenty of different ones you can use. I don't use mine a whole lot, basically just when I'm going to be doing like flowers and stuff. Now when I'm making like regular mesh wreaths, I never heat seal it. It takes too much time. Plus, y'all, my mesh, I get good quality mesh. I don't buy the cheap mesh, so I don't need to worry about it going to be fraying. But y'all, you can spend $20 on a roll of mesh, and you can spend $10 on a roll of mesh, or you can spend $5 on a roll of mesh, and all of them are going to still fray. So don't think just because you're buying a $20 roll of mesh that it's not going to fray. It's going to fray, and obviously the more you rough handle it around, the more it's going to fray because you're messing with it. So don't mess with it as much as you need to. Don't try to snag it on other stuff. Don't rub more than one together, all that kind of stuff. So that is how you like take care of your mesh. So treat it good, and you shouldn't really have a problem with a lot of it fraying. So I'm going to be doing I really don't know how many petals I need, y'all. This is actually my first time making one of these with the Uitc board. I've made it with a different ring before, but I'm gonna let you know this is my first time, so bear with me. I watched some videos on it, and we're gonna see how this goes, and we're gonna get through it together. So let me know in the comments if you've ever worked with a Uitc board. This is my first time working with one. Every time I tried to order them, they were either out of stock, or I'd forget about them, or all that. So finally I was on Amazon one day getting stuff, and I just got them. They do sell them on Amazon, or you can go onto the Uitc in the Creek website and buy them right from there. Otherwise, I know a lot of different places have them. Like I know Deco Exchange has them sometimes. Waterman's Loft has them sometimes. All the different places carry them at different times, depending if they're in stock or out of stock. But when I bought mine, Uitc in the Creek, the actual website, and that's who makes these, their website was up or down for like refreshing, or like they were redoing their website, so I just bought them on Amazon. And I think it was cheaper to get them in a 5-pack than buying them separately or whatever. So again, just take your time sealing your edges. At the ends, you got to go a little bit more, because obviously you can see that at the ends there's a lot more burlap down at the end, keeping it all together. So obviously you're gonna have to go a little bit slower there. As you can see, there's like a couple of different strands at the end that you want. So I'm gonna do about, I don't know, about 20-ish of these little 10, again, I'm cutting these at 10 inches. So it's gonna be a 10 by 10 square at the end because the mesh roll is already 10 inches. And then I'm gonna cut this at 10 inches. So that should be 10 by 10. Some of your mesh is gonna, sometimes you get rolls of mesh and they're actually 10.5 inches. I think this one's a 10 by 10. I can actually check the packages in about 2 seconds. And this, they sell this poly burlap in many different colors. It is a 10 by 10. Yep, it's a 10 yard by 10 inch. And you get 10 yards of it. So 10 inches. And we're gonna cut it at 10, so you should have a 10 by 10 square at the end. And if you did that, if you have that, then you did it correctly. So eventually, y'all, I want to start doing some kits with these once I get a little bit better at them. I want to make some other flower centers. There's many different ways to make your centers, and you can even use like a small circle sign in your middle of your thing. Anything circular, you could put little balls in there. I've seen people that put the little styrofoam balls, they paint them, and they put like a pile of 5 or something in there. There's so many different ways to do it, so I want to learn a couple of them. There's some that people do with like little things of this rope stuff that is really cool. Y'all, I'm gonna actually grab my pattern because the last one, y'all, I just did like it started off with 10 and it ended at 9, so I was not completely in line. So I wanted to make sure I'm keeping myself on line. And so this ruler won't let me go past. Too busy talking. So I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse. I'm going to finish the rest of this, and we'll be back when I have about 20 of them cut. I don't know if we need actually 20 of them. We might need more. But at the end of the video, y'all, I'll tell you how many we used. That way, if you want to make it, you only have to cut as many. I'm just like guesstimating right now. So I'll be back in 1 minute. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie to you. I just sat here for like 5 minutes trying to remember how I did my circle thing. I kept on folding it in half, and y'all, I kind of wrecked one of them. So at the end of after all, you should have 36 cut at 10 inches, and that should use up one whole roll of your mesh. Now I'm gonna have to open another one because I screwed this one up, and I don't want all this fraying action going on because I folded it like 15 times. I couldn't think of it. I thought I had folded it in half into a triangle, but you don't, y'all. I had to go watch Scott Waterman quick do his so I could remember, because I was totally brain lost and I couldn't think of it. So what you do is you take it and you fold it like this, and you take it from this corner here and you fling it up to the next corner. So kind of just going from corner to corner, pinching it in the corner, taking it, bringing it this way, bringing this one over the top of that one, and pinching it, so you kind of got like a little, I guess you would say like a petal like that. So now that you got your petal, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your little mesh, little thing, and you're gonna bring it into your circle thing. Now I like to use about 1 finger inch shorter and add it in. Now what's really important, friends, is when you're done with your putting all your petals in, you make sure that all your little inserts here are all going in the same amount. Don't have one going in farther than the other, because then your petals are going to be all ruined and your flower is not going to look even. So that's a really important step. Now y'all, you can see some of my stuff is fraying. It's going to happen, but we'll get through it. So then you like to fluff my petals out, and I like to take my little zip tie gun. You can get this thing off of Amazon. All you do, friends, is you take it, you put your zip tie through, bring it down, it'll tighten it, and then it'll cut it. So if it needs to get tightened, it'll tighten it, and then it'll cut it. Now that petal isn't going anywhere. So we're going to move on to our next one. Friends. Okay. You take your stuff, fluff it all the way to the end. Bring it through. Like that. like so. I'm trying to get them so that they're all even. So what, they go to like 16, so we should pinch at the 8, and then it comes over like that. There. And y'all, I'm gonna be honest with you. At the end of the thing, I was using my rotary cutter, and I can tell which ones I rotary cuttered and which ones I used my thing on. So I might go back and just cut a couple more that I used the rotary cutter on, and switch them out, because I don't like the way this is looking without the rotary cutter. You can tell these ones were not heat sealed, and you can tell this one was, because it's not fraying. And I didn't think it was going to be a big difference, because at first I didn't think my heat sealer was doing it correctly, but now that I'm looking at it, y'all, it was doing it. So don't be someone that likes to just do the easy way out, because I was thinking that it wasn't working, but you do need that heat sealer to do it, friends. So make sure you use your heat sealer, because it's gonna make a big difference. But it's fine, because the ones I didn't, I'll just use them as curls and in a wreath, and then they'll get curled under, and you won't be able to even tell that it was not heat sealed. So as you can tell, you guys, I'm doing about the same measurement on these things. Like, am I doing this wrong, friends? Oh yeah, I am. No, I think I have to, like, I think you just keep on going around like that. I think that's how you do it. We'll figure it out, friends. We'll get it done. I ain't worried. It may take a little bit, but we'll get it done. So again, just ruffle all the way up, bring it over, pinch it. Now, if you wanted to ruffle all your petals up and then go in and add them on, you totally could. You could just put clips on these, or little twisties or whatever, and then put them all on your board. But I'm gonna just put them all on my board now, and not have to worry about it later on. Then I don't have to worry about them coming apart or whatever, because you don't want that happening. Y'all, I'm loving the way this is turning out, except for over here. Those ones we will get redone. We will redo those. My lazy butt deserves them to unruffle, because if I want to be lazy like that, then guess what? It's going to work against me. So that's my fault, and I will make sure that I never just use my rotary cutter on it again, because I can tell which ones we did and which ones we didn't. So those are all bad ones. Some of these I can't tell. We definitely did rotary that one. We definitely rotared that one, that one, that one, and this one. And I think the rest of these we didn't. Not sure about those ones. But we live and we learn, right, y'all? As we go, we will learn that if you don't take your time, then you know what? You're gonna get some bad ones, and you're gonna learn from your mistakes. So I learned from my mistake not to just skip out on the rotary cutter or the blade and to use my thing, but I have to cut more mesh anyways, so we'll just cut new mesh, and then we'll just use the ones that we have cut already that don't look very good, and we'll just use them in like another wreath and just use them as curls, because we'll curl them under, and you won't be able to even tell. You won't even be able to see where it's fraying, because they'll be curled under. So that's probably what I will do with those ones, and I will never do that step again. So this is going to make a smaller flower, friends. It's going to not be as big as some of your other ones, which is fine. It's going to use less mesh, so it's totally up to you how you want to make your flower. You could easily use the large flower board, which eventually I'm going to use the large flower board. I thought I'd start with the smaller one and see how it works before I go and buy the larger one. Now they don't just have, it's not just all circular ones, friends. They also have ones that don't have a middle, so that you can actually use it like a wreath. and then you can be able to see through it. They also have one that is like a triangle that you can do multiple things with. You can make a Christmas tree and put it up like that, or you can tilt it the other way and let the triangle come down, and you can turn it into like a carrot. They also have another one that you can kind of make it look like it's a angel wings that they just came out with. That one's a new one. They have a horse board, so you can have a horse head. I think there's a couple other ones, but I'm not really sure with them all right now yet, guys. So they make tons of different ones, so I'd check them out. Again, they're called Unique in the Creek boards, or UITC boards. That's what I call them. So some people don't know the abbreviation for them. Crafter lingo, and so now you know some crafter lingo. Because in fact, we do have some lingo that only us crafters know. And this thing is called a zip tie gun. It tightens your zip tie, and then once it gets tight enough that it can't tighten anymore, it cuts your zip tie off. And you can get those on Amazon. That's where I got mine from, at least. I can't tell if I heat sealed this one. It looks like I did, because I can see where it melted down. So, and again, there's so many different ways you can do your centers. The centers are gonna kind of basically the fun part. That's the way you can embellish it and do it all different of ways. So I just made a basic center because the center that I bought was too big, but you can also buy centers. There's a lot of crafters that actually make the centers and sell them as well. Otherwise, you can get centers all over the place. The places that sell the boards. Look at how it's looking so far, friends. It looks like a sunflower. So we're kind of going for more of a like a spring daisy look with the pink center. But guess how this would be so fun in fall to do a yellow one like this with this yellow mesh, and then having like a brown fluffy looking center. They actually have centers that look like sunflower centers, like the brown with like the seed stuff on them that looks like the sunflower seeds, and I'm gonna make one of those during summer or fall. But I kind of want to, with that one pink board that I got, or center that I got that was way too big, I'm gonna try to make some kind of big flower that I can use a big center like that from. So we're gonna figure that out together. So y'all, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. The channel is right here, the one that you're watching from. Hit that red subscribe button. Comment down below if you've ever used a Unique in the Creek board before. Let me know where you're watching from. All that fun stuff. Let me know if you love my videos, if there's any video tutorial that you want me to make on here. Let me know. I also have a Facebook page, and that's where I go live once or twice a week. I'm actually going to be going live in my private group tonight. That is a bow making class that I'm teaching at the moment. You can still join. You might just have to watch the replays depending on when I have this posted that you can join. But otherwise, it's in my Etsy shop. My Etsy shop is Envy Crafts by Max. Just purchase your $10 live ticket, and you can totally join the group, and all the replays are watched, so you can be able to go back and watch a replay. And a replay is basically like a video like this, pre-recorded, but a replay would just be the live video that's now over, but now it's just a video. So I'm not live on there anymore reading all your comments, but you'll still be able to learn because it's going to be an overhead view looking right down at this thing, and I'm going to be teaching those members how to make around 15-ish bows. So that will be super fun, and all the donations for that are going to be going to the animal shelter. So it's going to be helping out two things, and that's called my Bow Making Madness challenge that I'm going to be doing this January. It's going to be about a week to 2 week class. Every couple of nights I'm going to be going live in the group and teaching them how to make a couple different bows, using different things, techniques on how to make the bows, because bow making is a challenging thing. When I first did it, y'all, I struggled, and I'm not going to even lie to you. It was a struggle for me, and if you look at some of my first ever wreaths, you will not see a single bow on any of them because I did not know how to make a bow, and I wasn't going to embarrass myself on my bows, so I was practicing. But then I finally just took the time and I put in the practice, and y'all, it shows in my bows now. I love my bows. They're all super fun, and there's so many different ways to make a bow. So we're almost done with this center, and then I'm going to have to cut more mesh because I'm not going to use the mesh that I didn't heat seal, because I don't want my bow to end up looking crappy. So, or my wreath to look crappy, because I was too lazy. So we're going to cut that new mesh, and then, yeah, so if you cut them all right, you will have 36, and that'll be enough to do all of them besides the center. But y'all, I don't know if we're going to even need to have the center. I'm thinking we're not going to need to do that center because I think our flower center is going to cover that up, but I'll have to double check. Again, this is my first time doing it, so I'm just doing all guesstimates. I took a guesstimate at how many petals we're going to need, and I said 20, and we need 36. That's not even close. So at this point, I can't be a man of my words right now until I know for sure. So if you're doing this along with me, do not listen to me at first because I don't want to mess you up. So I would totally do this after and make sure. So I'm going to actually be cutting this one off because this is our first one that we put on, friends. And the reason I'm cutting it off is because it's all frayed, and that's the ugly one. So we're going to get rid of that. And I'm going to go heat seal some more edges, friends. And then, y'all, you know what I can even maybe be able to do is just run my heat sealer along the edges of these ones and see if it will be... Oh, I don't think it's going to. I think, y'all, what we're going to do is when I make another wreath, probably like a ladybug or a bumblebee or something, we'll just go like that, and we'll turn them into curls, and you won't even be able to tell that they were not heat sealed. It's basically just for the flowers that you want the heat seal because you can see all the edges. Whenever you're making another wreath with curls or whatever, you really don't need that. Okay, these two are actually heat sealed, and so is this one, it looks like. I want to say that this one was heat sealed, yeah. That one's heat sealed, so we're good with that one. These ones are not. So like the last 10-ish ones that I did, I never heat sealed because I didn't look like the heat sealing was doing much, but it actually was, friends, because those ones didn't fray and these ones did. So you live and you learn. So I will come back when I have them all heat sealed. I'm going to finish the outside layer, and then I'll come back when I have the inside ready for you guys so I can show you how to do those. And then we'll get our thing rocking and rolling. So I'll be back in about 2 seconds for you guys, but a couple minutes for me. Okay, we're back and we're better than ever, and we got all our meshes cut. So quick mess up, quick little screw up, but we figured it out and we're back to rocking and rolling and roller coasting. So again, just covering them back up. So what I had to do is I went back and I just cut another thing of mesh, and I just cut 16 more bundles, and that's how many I need left, because y'all know that I messed up the first one. So we got our first board, first section done. And what I'm going to do now is our second section, friends. So we're just going to put them in our next bundles, just like that. And what I did when I was away was I did our flower center. I put our wire down in the back. That way we had somewhere to attach because we didn't have a thing. So I'll show you how I did that in a second as well. All I did was I took a wire and I just used some floral pins, which are like the little U-shaped pins that you can use at any floral shop or craft store or online or whatever. Again, the same trick that we're using is to make sure that all your boards are your little indents right here are all about the same size. That way you don't worry about them coming off. And y'all, I recommend you 100% to use your thing, because look at how much nicer these are working now that they're not fraying because I used my heat sealer. It takes a little bit more time. Yes, it takes a little bit more time, but let me just tell you, your product looks a lot better. Wouldn't you rather take 10 more minutes and have a nice, beautiful design instead of a nice design? Because y'all, it probably would still sell, or it still would look nice, but who wants fraying if you can minimize the fraying? Obviously, if you can't minimize the fraying because there's just like nothing you can do about it, then it's like, okay, yeah, I guess it's gonna fray. But if you know that you can make it so it doesn't fray, why wouldn't you take the time to do it? So I was just being lazy before, and I figured that it would still look out the same, and I was wrong, and I made a mistake, and now I learned that, and I'm teaching you guys and preaching to you guys not to do the same mistake as me. So again, we're just doing our, and I like to fluff them out, y'all, so the petals go down. That's what I like. That way it covers up the gap. And so we're just adding them into all our ties. At the end, you should have 36 of them. And I checked, and I don't think we're gonna need to use any more. So if you cut everything right and you don't mess any of them up, you should only need to do 36 little bundles, because when I checked it before, it looks like we're not going to need to add it to the 4th row, because our little flower center is going to be there, and our flower center, from when I checked it 2 minutes ago, or whenever I was making my thing, it looked like it will cover up that section, and we won't need to add bundles. And obviously, why add bundles if it's going to get covered up? So look at how much fuller this is coming in already, guys. And I love this yellow. When I was cutting this burlap, I was like, I cannot wait to be able to use these and make it for an actual like sunflower one with the purple with a brown center. That's gonna look so beautiful. Now, I like poly burlap. Again, it's a little bit more expensive. These were around $10 a roll, but it's well worth it. But if you can't afford that and you want to use just regular deco mesh and that kind of a thing, what I suggest is, because regular deco mesh is a little bit more see-through than poly burlap, I suggest you just double it up. So to pretend like these were 2 regular deco meshes, I would take 2 and put them together and do it like that, and then just use 2 together and do the same exact thing, and it would just basically be doubled up. That way it'd be a little bit more thicker, because obviously you don't want to see through your flower. So that's what I would recommend. But again, it's totally up to you. It's your design if you do it that way. But that's what I would do if I use regular deco mesh. Now, I like the poly burlap, but I know some colors don't come in the poly burlap that you may want to use. So, or you can't afford and you don't want to use the more expensive stuff. It's totally up to you, but that's what I would do, is just double it up. So it's a lot thicker. And again, make sure you leave enough opening on these zip ties that you can get your thing in there. Some of mine were a little bit tight, and they were a little bit hard to get mine through. And you don't need to have one of these zip tie guns. You could easily just use a regular little wire snippers to snip these off. I have the tool, so I just use it. But it's not necessary. Okay, so we're just gonna keep on bundling these up, and then we're gonna go all the way around, and I'm gonna do the inside circle, and then I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse, because you guys don't want to watch me do this all. And I try to keep my YouTube videos pretty short, that way they don't have to be so long. So I'm gonna finish up this 2nd row, and I'm gonna do the same exact thing I'm doing now to the 3rd row in these ties, and then y'all, I will be back after the break. And y'all, I'm actually messing up because I'm already putting these in the wrong tie. Oh wait, no I'm not. No I'm not. I'm doing good. I'm fine. I'm thriving. I'm like skipping. Oh wait, no I'm not. I'm actually doing it. I started putting them in these ties over here, friends. I'm like, I guess I'm kind of going in order. So it works. It works. So I'll be back after the time lapse. Hey guys, so I guess I didn't hit go, but what happened was I'm warming up my thing again, because y'all, our center isn't big enough to cover up the leftover space. If you can see that, once you put our center in there, you can still see the board and stuff. So I need to cut 4 more petals to put on that 4th row. Now obviously, depending on how big your center is, determines how big, if you need to do these 4 things. If you have a bigger center than me, you won't need to cover it up, but I don't want to be able to see this board. It looks unprofessional. I don't like that look. But y'all, I just want to show you, this is what our center was supposed to be. And y'all, I don't think this looks that bad. I don't really like how, it's kind of big, but like that doesn't look that bad, I guess. You could totally use this. I'm thinking that if you did the larger wreath base, you probably could get away with that bigger one, but they do sell smaller ones. So we're gonna wait for this thing to heat up, and we're just gonna cut 4 more 10-inch strips, get them in there. As we're waiting, what we can do is we can add our little zip ties to the center of these, like we did with our other stuff, right in So I guess now you know. I wouldn't, me personally, if I do a different center, obviously I know with these centers now, if I make these same exact ones, I'm going to know I'm going to do the third row, which is only 4 more pieces, y'all, so you're going to have to open another thing of mesh. But I would, or you could always go out and buy bigger things, but I would not cut the 4 petals unless I knew for sure. So I would do all these and get them all on, and then I would put my center in there, and then I would see. And then if I do, I'd cut more. I wouldn't cut all of them, and even the center one yet, because then when if your thing is big enough, then you cut 4 more petals and you didn't need to. So I wouldn't waste the material unless you actually need to cut the 4 and you know for sure. So we're just gonna put, I'm putting the zip ties in these last 4 little holes, and then we'll be ready. Our thing should not have to heat up too much because we just used it like 5 minutes ago, so it should be pretty much heated. This is like the 4th time I've had to turn it back on because we had to cut it again before. And now I'm having a hard time with the last zip tie. We got it. So basically the tools you're going to need is you're going to need like a wood burning tool, your board, your center, your mesh, and some zip ties, and that's pretty much all you need to do this, friends. You guys, you don't need ribbons, you don't need to do hardly anything to it. So it's a really easy process. So that's my cat's food. So it's 5 o'clock, and I have Bow Madness at 6. So after I get done with this, I'm gonna prepare ribbons. Y'all, I just touched the little end, and it is hot, so it is ready. So just again, I'm using this straight edge, just so I know. So basically, friends, if you do all of it and you have a center just like mine, at the end you're gonna for sure need 2 rolls of the burlap, but our second roll you're only gonna need 4. Now I had to use more than that on my second one because I didn't cut right away, but if you cut all yours using the thing and you listen to all the directions that you shouldn't have a problem. So I got a busy night tonight. I got bow making madness. I gotta go with the private group. I gotta teach them some things, and then after that I have a tutorial for the public MB Crafts group. I have to teach them a wreath kit that I have in stock right now. So again, y'all, if you guys are interested in wreath kits, a lot of you guys here are from my Facebook page, so you guys already heard about them, or if you haven't, you're hearing about it now. But some of you guys I know are just here on YouTube. We don't have Facebook. So I do kits. So it's basically a kit is all the supplies you need to make a certain wreath. So tonight's is an Easter, tomorrow's is a bumblebee, and then I also have a grapevine kit in there as well. So you buy all the supplies and then you watch the tutorial and I teach you how to do it. So it's like a DIY make your own wreath kit. So it's super fun. I have great kits available in my shop right now. So go over there to MB Crafts by Max on Etsy and check it out. It's super good deals. They're a little bit expensive. They're around $80 for the Easter one. I think is $79. The bumblebee's $82 and the grapevine's $47 or something. But let me just tell you, you're getting a lot of material. You're getting great roll. You get all full yards of ribbon, all 10-yard rolls. You get a nice, beautiful sign. You get it all, friends. You get everything you need. You get your pipe cleaners, your zip tie. Okay, so I'm done with this. Hopefully for the last time. Hopefully I don't need to cut anymore. But if I don't think I'm gonna need to, because there ain't no more holes, so we can't do any more holes. So the only reason I'd have to is if it's fraying, which it shouldn't, because we just did it. So we're gonna again just go all 4 like we've been doing, friends. It's 10-inch cuts all the way around, same exact ruffle. Now there's plenty of different flower petal methods. You could cut these in half and do them a certain way. There's like tons of different methods, and eventually I'll be teaching all the different ones. This is the main method that I know, and this is the method that I think looks the best. So this is the one I'm gonna do, but y'all can totally do whatever method makes you like the best is the one that you can do. So we're gonna get this done, and you could easily go, I think it'd be super pretty to you can switch up the mesh for the first row, and then the second row do a different color, and do different different ones, all different ones. You could use different types of mesh to bring in some different features. And y'all, I'm gonna be doing a bunch of these. I'm loving these. They're super fun, and they're kind of different from a wreath. These could be hung up year round. They can get hung up between your doors. If you live in like a state where you have to have a storm door, just because you don't have just a front door. Like here where I live in Wisconsin, I have a storm door behind my, or in front of my main door. So we have, if I want to hang a wreath on the front door, it has to be skinny enough to fit between the two doors, otherwise it'll hit the storm door. So a wreath like this would be perfect for that because it's skinny and it's not really big. A lot of my wreaths are really full, so they either have to go on a wall and not on your front door, or they have to go on the actual front door itself. And if you live in like Florida or California or places where it doesn't get like real cold and you don't need to have the other kind of doors, they work perfect. Okay, so we're done with that, friends. And y'all, when I finish it, you'll see when you finish it, it's on top. But once you finish it, you got to go back and put that one you end on right back where you started. That way they all go in form, one on top of the other. So now you can see that it's nice and filled in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my gun, my zip tie gun, wherever he went off to. Oh, he's under my thing, that's why. I'm going to... Okay, sometimes, y'all, it only likes to go in a certain direction. It's a picky gun. Yep, see, he only likes to go in certain directions. So now, our thing will fit, and it has to fit because there ain't no other things to go in it. So I like to puff mine out, you guys, fluff them underneath, give it a little bit of love so it comes up. And y'all, look how beautiful this is. This is absolutely gorgeous. Now, you can easily go back in when you're done, and you could add, green so it looks like leaves, but I don't have any green right now that I would like. So y'all, what I did is I took floral pins and I floral pinned my wire in, and then I put glue over it, put some foam felt over it, and then I just put 4 more floral pins in there, and it's not going to come out. So we're going to take our wire and we're going to put it through this hole here and through this hole here. So I'm just putting it through the inside holes, pulling it down as far as I possibly pull it as tight as I can so it comes all the way. Pull it so it's nice and beautiful right in the center. And twisting it, pulling it, twisting it, twisting it, twisting it. Now, what I want to do is cut it a little bit. I'm going to set this on there very carefully. Now, you don't want to leave this, obviously, because this is going to be on the end of your customer. This is going to be touching your customer's door. So I wouldn't leave this pointy thing there. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to actually take it and push it back down into that hole. And I'm not going to do it when I'm holding that on there like that, just because I don't want that hitting my customer's door. But I'm going to push that all down in there, because I don't want this scratching my customer's door. So, what I would do, friends, just because I don't want my, and I'm going to move this around so you guys can't see any like holes or anything. And I'm going to take some felt and put it right over this little wire there. That way it doesn't scratch the door or the wall. And I have little felt right here. You only need a little piece just so it's not sharp. And I'm just going to hot glue that right on there with some hot glue. And that's what I'm going to do. And then you guys, on the top where I showed you before, there's those extra 2 little things. And that's where you can add your little hanger so you have a place to hang this. So I'm just going to put a little bit of felt right over the top of this. That way that little piece isn't there. And then I'm going to fluff out my things a little bit. So again, guys, we made this flower center with using one of these little foam half circles. And I just put some paint on it and just sprayed it with some shellac. I think it would also look really cool if you put like some spray adhesive and put glitter on it. You can make a glittery one, or you could put little like other stuff to like make it look like a real sunflower. You could do moss and then put moss on it, and then use the moss to make some spray the moss and make a different color, so that way it doesn't have to be green. So that's an easy way to make a nice little sunflower or flower. This is not really a sunflower, it's more like it's supposed to be like a springy flower. So up here where you have these other two little holes right here that I showed you guys, that one and that one, that is where I'm going to add our little hanger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it just like I make a normal everyday hanger for all my other wreaths. I'm going to just put it in those two holes. So what I want to do is just fold these little things over. I like to make a hanger for my customer, that way they have a place to be able to hang it, and they know exactly where the top and the bottom and wherever. Obviously if you have a sign, they should be able to figure that out. But some wreaths, y'all, you have, it's really not, there's not really a dedicated top or a bottom. But this way, these Unique in the Creek boards have a designated top and a designated bottom for you, so you don't have to worry about trying to figure out where that is. So I made my hanger a little too big, but that's fine. I'm going to cut it over here, and I'm going to fold this over like a little U like we normally do. Put that in that second little tie there, and then now just fold that up, make it more like a U shape, and look at, just like that, friends, we have a little hanger on our back. So you can see right here and right here is where they have the designated holes. So you're gonna do it right in here. You should be able to tell that these are the things, and then that is basically what you're gonna hang your board on. So now I would put this on my wall, and I would look at it straight on. Sometimes when I'm looking at it straight down, friends, it doesn't look, and I'm gonna get all my glue strings off. That's another little thing you should do. And I'm gonna look at it, and I'm gonna try to fluff these, and like sometimes you can see a little place where you can see like the rest over the base. Sometimes you have to go underneath that layer and take that last petal and cover it up a little bit. It's pretty much the only spot where I see that a whole lot. And that's why I like the poly burlap, because it doesn't show a lot of it. And on the outside here, like I said, I'll fluff it out, get all our petals nice and even and all that kind of a thing. And that's basically how you make your little Unique in the Creek flower using the small flower board. Now there is the larger board that's going to make a larger wreath than this. I'm starting off small, getting used to it, and we'll work our way up to the big one. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if it was a little long. Kind of took me a little bit, but I just wanted to make sure I could do this, and I was showing you guys the correct way. So we learned together, friends. You guys have a great day, great night, whatever time of the day you're watching this. Make sure you guys hit a big thumbs up to this video. Make sure you've subscribed to my channel. Let me know if you ever used a Unique in the Creek board, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.